What's happening, everybody? What's happening, YouTube? What's happening, Instagram? Facebook's still waiting on you. Come on. Well, it's Monday, and it's high noon. Welcome to Live from the Man Cave. I hope you guys had a really superb, outstanding weekend. It was pretty good here in Virginia Beach. The weather was okay. It did. Hey, Jimmy Finley, welcome aboard. Weather was okay, but yesterday was awesome. There was some nice little surf working, and my son William and his good friend Nick Mall were out on it on their custom-made Big Jim model surfboards from circa 1918 surfboards. So it was a good weekend all the way around. Hope it was for you guys also. Facebook, are you with me or not? Come on, man. Waiting, waiting, waiting. All right, today's one of those days. The topic for today, what is common sense? You ever pondered that? And this has really had me a little bit tangled up because I actually wrote a blog post about this 2 years ago. And it's 2 years later. Not much has changed in the way of common sense. In fact, I would argue that a lot has gotten worse. Facebook, what are you doing to me? Let's keep going. To heck with Facebook. So what I've done is I've updated my blog from 2 years ago, but I'm not even finished with that, which is why the video blog will be up later today, but it's not up right now. And the things we're going to talk about today at Live, I'm actually going to split up because there's so much to talk about and just to share with you guys. So an admin note, okay, this is going to be a two-part Live. We'll talk about it today and do it again on Wednesday. The other thing you need to know is that I've made the command decision that Live is now going to switch to Monday, Wednesday, Friday only. We're going to take Tuesday out of there for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is the fact that, as is my tendency, I've overextended myself. And there's just too much that I want to do, that I'm trying to do. And cutting out Tuesday is going to help me just to get things done in a better way. So we're going to be going Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So first of the week, last of the week, and hump day, Wednesday. All right. Sorry those of you on YouTube and Instagram, but Facebook is not cooperating with me right now. God. I love technology. What is common sense? There's actually two ways to look at it. Common sense. Two definitions. The first definition is a secular definition, which means it has no biblical or spiritual reference whatsoever. And if you look at those definitions, the secular type of definitions, they all seem to speak of knowledge and judgment. Now that seems to be right, doesn't it? Okay. But if you look at the biblical definitions, okay, here's how the Bible looks at common sense. The Bible speaks of wisdom that comes from having knowledge first. Now, do you see the distinctions there? Do you see the differences there? You know, the secular version is just having knowledge, but the biblical version is having knowledge and then gaining wisdom from that knowledge. Does that make sense? It's an important distinction, I think. Okay. The bottom line is, you know, without knowledge, there really is little hope or little chance of you having any kind of common sense. Doesn't that make sense to you guys? Here's an analogy. See if this rings true. We all know you don't stick your finger in the fire, right? Well, how did you learn that? How did you gain that knowledge when you were a youngster? Well, it could have been a parent said, "Don't get near that fire," or "Don't go close," and you thought, "Okay, they have my best interest, so I know not to go close to the fire." But did you know why? Okay, see, so the why is the kicker there. It's one thing to know something, but what takes it to another level is the why. And that's the difference between a secular definition, common sense, and a biblical definition of common sense. So that's where all of this is going today, checking out those differences, because and I got to tell you guys, I have no intention of ever getting political here at Intentional Faith. That's not the intent. What my intent is to point out things and then about life and living life, and then kind of show you the biblical connection or the faith connection that helps you understand those things of life. So that's where we're headed with this, okay? Knowledge is one thing, but wisdom is something totally different that you can only gain if you have knowledge first. All right, so how do you get that knowledge? Well, it ain't rocket science, is it? You know, it starts out in school. Yeah, see, don't get me started on this, because where this whole thing started 2 years ago when I first wrote my first blog about this were some newspaper articles, and you guys know I'm a clipper. I like to clip. Here they are. Here's another one. Newspaper articles that really address this issue of common sense and the role of education. And you guys know that I was an educator most of my life. So those things resonated with me. I clipped them, and then I wrote a blog post about them. It seemed to make sense. Today's video blog, later on today when I actually get it up, I'm going to read you the full text of a couple of those and share with you some alarming statistics about the state of education in this country, which in turn affects the state of knowledge, which in turn affects the wisdom we all have or don't have. So education is the key. Now I want to read to you, again, this is not a political discourse of any kind, but I want to read to you part of one article, very small part of one of the articles I clipped a couple of years ago. And it has to do with Americans have trouble telling fact from opinion. Well, unless you've been living on Mars, you know that to be true. We have trouble telling fact from opinion. So this lady who wrote this article, she's from the Washington Post, typically a left-leaning, but whatever. But she cites a survey done from the Pew Research Center. Now, if you've never heard of the Pew Research Center, it is a nonpartisan, which means they don't care what your opinion is in terms of your political and all that. They want your opinion, but they don't care about anything else. They're not skewed one way or the other. They gather data, and they tell you the data. Here's what's alarming. See if this, we'll see if this rings true to you guys. Pew Center did a survey two years ago. Pew concluded that Republicans and Democrats are more likely to classify a news statement as factual if it favors their side, whether it is factual or merely opinion. Does that surprise anybody who just heard that? Yeah. What that's saying is for a lot of people, it doesn't matter what the facts are, okay? If it's, if it sides with their agenda, even if it's just opinion, they're going to believe it. Okay, that's a lack of common sense. That's taking reality and saying, I don't care what reality is. Okay, this is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen, and I think you guys know that. It doesn't make any difference what your political persuasion. I'm not a big fan of labels. In fact, I'm getting ready to do another post about labels, and I'll share that with you. I hate them. Because almost always they're negative in some way, aren't they? Or they're used to drive a wedge between us in some way, aren't they? But I digress. That's coming. All right. So my mama, I've told you this many, many times, had more common sense than any human being I've ever known. And when I was a young guy and I would get critical or I would complain about something or someone, she would always say to me, look, you got to remember, there's two sides to every story. Yeah. Well, she's right. Now, in one of my other little posts here it is. This was actually a letter to the editor. And I don't know if this woman was a teacher or what. Just lost Facebook. It's gone. See what we can do. Well, life's a bitch and then you die. Told you that on Friday, didn't I? Unfreaking believable. Okay. No Facebook today. Not a big deal. There we are. All right, so this lady says, and of course the full text will be in the video blog later today. This lady says what you should do. Listen carefully. Think critically. And thinking critically is also something we're not teaching in school anymore. And I know this because I used to be a teacher. She says, listen carefully, think critically, and carefully weigh diverse opinions. Any of that happening that you're aware of these days? Well, it's not. Because we lack knowledge. We lack common sense. And the problem we face here, if you don't have the knowledge, and if you don't have the wisdom, and you don't have the common sense, then you are likely to follow the wind wherever it takes you. Yeah, that's happening a lot. Now, one of the things I've been promoting here a lot at Intentional Faith, especially since this corona crap's been around, is, take it upon yourself. Take it upon yourself to find information. And you know what? That's great advice, isn't it? But it's becoming harder and harder to find good quality information. That's another problem. All right, so I'm going to leave you with a couple of gold nugget Bible verses. That's the sound of freedom. Do you hear it? Planes are flying. I'm going to leave you with I'm going to leave you with two gold nugget Bible verses that kind of put everything into biblical perspective, which you knew I was going to do at some point, about common sense and wisdom. And as you might suspect, they're both from the book of Proverbs, which is probably the most practical book of the Bible there is. 3,000 years later, every bit of it is still totally spot on about life and how to live life. All right, here you go. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 13 and 14. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she, they're talking about wisdom, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better return than gold. Okay, wisdom. So where does wisdom come from? Well, you go back to Proverbs chapter 2, verses 6 through 7. For the Lord gives wisdom. The Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless. And another way to express walk is blameless is those who have integrity. Well, there you go. I mean, do you need to know anything else about common sense? It comes from the Lord, doesn't it? All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about this tomorrow because I think it's hugely important. And I could have gone into a lot more detail today, but we'll come back Wednesday. Not tomorrow, Wednesday. And we'll finish this up. In the meantime, I'm going to get the video blog finished and get that up. If you're on my mailing list, you'll know when that happens because I'm going to let you know that it's up. Well, I hope this has given you a little bit of thinking material to work on today. Refer to those Bible verses when you get kind of confused, because if you stick to the secular definition of common sense, you're going to end up following the wind wherever it leads you. We know people who do that. God bless them. Yeah. All right, it's birthday time. Okay, over the weekend, on Saturday, my old buddy from Cape Emery Collegiate School, Linda Balcom, had a birthday. Linda Lou, happy birthday to you. And my old buddy from ADS, Nick Hoffman, had a birthday. Happy birthday to you, Nick. Today, it's former student lacrosse player Justin Lee, who we affectionately call Jay Lee, because he kind of just rolls. Happy birthday to you, young man. And also, the son of Virginia Beach legend, Dawson Sterling, his son Scott Sterling has a birthday today also. So, blessings to you guys, one and all. Hope you had a wonderful day or have a great day today. And hope the Lord is with you the whole time. All right, there you go. That's really all I had for you today. I got to get back to work. on my video blog because it goes into a ton more detail in this thing of common sense. And I'm just thankful for my parents who instilled in me a lot of common sense. And it just disturbs me that we don't seem to have much of that lately, but we're not teaching it. We're not teaching it. All right, more about this tomorrow. So until more about this on Wednesday. Yeah, see, I'm already messed up. I'm doing too much. But I love this. I love you guys. I'm going to keep doing it. All right, until Wednesday. Got it. See, may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and in every way. The Lord be with all of you. Those of you on Facebook, I don't know what happened today, but it didn't work. Love technology. If you're on Instagram or YouTube, yeah, have a great day. We'll see you back here on Wednesday. Stay strong. Keep the faith. See you next time.